Hey everyone, it's nothing no Barfield here. Welcome to Writer's Corner. What's been up with me recently? Well, I'm hungry, and I need a haircut. Does that count? And I've gotten busier. I don't know if I've gotten busier. I just feel like I have, but that's okay. I don't like to stay still. I don't like to pause. I like to always be going. Is just how I am. And in the vein of this, I've also been trying to interact with people more online, have a greater online presence on places like YouTube and Twitter and Wattpad and all those places, but being social is hard. But by the time this video comes out, it will be a day past Father's Day. It's alright though, I recorded this before Father's Day happened, so I'm in the clear. And unlike the shirt that I have is like, OMG, my mom was right about everything, I don't have one like that for my dad. But I need to get one. Regardless though, happy Father's Day, Dad! So around holidays like this, I just start thinking about my parents a lot. I get very, very thankful to have such great parents, because I know friends, I know people who don't have as amazing and supportive parents as I do, and I'm just very thankful for that. So I got to thinking about parents, and then specifically, as I tend to do, about parents in relation to writing. And I got thinking, how do you write parents in your story if you yourself are not a parent and you don't have kids? And I know you're thinking, but Noah, you've never had kids. How could you give us advice on this if you're not in a position to have first-hand experience? You sure I've never had kids? I'm just kidding. I've never had kids. I plan to, but I don't think I'm in a great place to be a parent right now, mostly because I have no money. But I would like to clarify a few things real quick. First, when I say parents in this video, I'm referring to parental units, meaning your biological parents, a temporary legal guardian, or the village of elves that adopted you whenever you were a baby. Second, I'm going to try and use my experiences to help gear this video towards mostly teens who are not parents, and so that way they can write realistic parents in their stories. And I mean, I've owned pets, so like, it's the same thing, right? And yes, I know even though you can lead both pets and children around on leashes, I know it's not the same thing. That being said though, if you have ever owned pets, that's a great place to start in terms of imagining the responsibility. But you can also observe your parents and the parents around you and that you see in public to try and get a better idea, and ask yourself a few questions while you're observing them, not at all creepy like a stalker. First, what are their conversational topics? What do parents talk to other parents about, and what do they talk to their kids about? What do they do in their free time? I mean, parents aren't always just constantly babysitting us. They do things besides work and take care of us. How do parents deal with situations? How do they deal with an unruly child, with discipline? How do they deal with bills? How do they deal with everything? The point of asking yourself these questions and observing people like creepy stalkers is to understand that your parents are like people, that parents are like people, and you should write them just like any other characters, with their layers, with their ideals, and with their flaws. There are some traits that good parents share in common with each other. First, they put their children first in matters. They accept the responsibility of their situation. While overwhelming at times, it is their burden to have, even if their kids or other people don't understand that. Sometimes good parents have to be the bad guy. They're also commonly forward-thinking and can see the consequences of their child's actions, mostly because they did that same stupid stuff and they've developed a protective instinct. So whenever they see their kids trying to jump this gap, they're like, hey, I did that whenever I was their age, but I also turned out like this. And I'm not really sure I want my kids to do that. So let's do something safer. Maybe instead of parkour, we'll ride bikes. And it is important to realize that most good parents are just trying their best and have a deep love for their child no matter what, and are trying to put their kids' desires above their own. Of course, this isn't clear cut, and there are going to be a lot of different variations, because nobody is perfect, including parents, and your characters are trying to resemble real people as realistically as possible. So there are going to be a lot of complex issues. Perhaps one of your characters is a good mom, and has a deep love for her children, and supports the hell out of them, but also has a drinking problem, and can oftentimes fly off the handle even whenever she doesn't want to. This is a complicated issue, and this is a flawed, layered person with lots of different ideals, with lots of different things that can happen or that can go wrong. They're probably going to try and be their best to be a good parent, but they can do some bad things, like all people can. And it's important to have these realistic characters in your story, especially whenever they're parents. However, there are some common traits that bad parents, from my observation, have in common. Bad parents are commonly selfish and unwilling to listen to their children. They put their own opinions and values above their child's and don't respect them. They tend to view their kids as servants rather than as their responsibilities. It's like having a bad manager. And parents are like managers and the kids are in place. Let's not think about that too much. So a good manager is going to understand responsibilities, is going to take action whenever someone does something wrong, but try and teach them how to move forward in the future, how to learn from their mistakes. So a bad manager is going to penalize people, they're going to blame them for their problems, and they're going to boss them around and use them arbitrarily and have personal vendettas against them even whenever they're their responsibility, and the manager should hold themselves accountable. And in the same vein, these bad parents will commonly blame their children for a whole host of different things, being unwilling to take responsibility for their actions or the actions of others upon themselves. Now, as a final note for tips, I would highly recommend finding writers that are in fact parents themselves, and ask them all the questions you possibly can. But before I start talking about Legendland, I do have a bit of cautionary advice. You're going to have to try, though, to take into account your situation while writing parents. Just because you have good parents, like I do, and a good home life, does not necessarily mean everyone is like that, and vice versa. What this means is your characters are complex people, and you'll have to write a diversity in them. What? Shocking. Character development 101. Do your best not to have all the parents and adults in your story be evil. Yes, these light dystopian things are fun to read, but commonly lack substance. James Patterson. They're commonly designed for a younger audience with a different mentality, and it's going to be more shallow and one-sided, from my experience. It's kind of like if you have the only gay character in your story being a villain. So if all of your parents are abusive pricks, you better have a good explanation for why that's realistic in your book. Finally, try. Please try to have your protagonist, if they're younger in the story, to understand where the parent is coming from. It's easy to demonize parents in writing, for them to be idiots and overprotective and not know what's going on, not really know what's at stake, and just trying to do what's best for you, but they don't know what's best for you because they don't know what you're going through. And you as the teenager, you as the young person, know more because you're in the moment right then, right there. You know exactly what's going on. And the beauty of being a writer is that you can make this true. You can make the teenager know more than the parent, because I'm sure it has happened at some point. So the beauty of being a writer is that you can do this. But I would highly suggest, at least one moment in your story, softening up your young protagonist and understanding where the parent is coming from. Trust me, it does actually happen. But this good-for-nothing teenager who doesn't know anything about adult life or the responsibilities of being a parent has said his piece. And now, it's time to brag about my book. My novel, Legendland, this fantastic piece of literature right here, is available on a plethora of places. Get it on Amazon, iTunes, Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, my publisher's website, and my website, www.arc-storm.com. And if you order off of there, I'll personally sign it for you, with a custom message if you want. I hope these tips have been helpful, that you can write more realistic parents now, and that you continue to enjoy. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. Stalk me online at Facebook, Twitter, Goodreads, and YouTube obviously. Please subscribe and comment below. Now if you're wanting the whole Legendland package, check out Legendland Tale of the Nameless God on Wattpad, updated every Friday. Watch some of my other videos, you might see something you enjoy, and I hope to see you next week.